I'll get you this afternoon. All right, here we go. Calling the meeting to order. Gotta tune that thing. Good afternoon and welcome to this March the 5th, 2021 meeting of the Rotary Club of Brentwood. I am, what does my note say? Yes, Keeley Hall, and I am honored to be your club president this year. As I was getting ready to come to work this morning, my girls reminded me that today is 1 year after their last day of school last year. They got out because there was one case in Williamson County. So they got out of school so they could clean the classrooms, and they never went back. So that's fun trivia for today. This is the 1 year anniversary of that. Dale Llewellyn has our invocation this morning, and Dick Bowers has the pledge and four-way test. Dale, take it away, sir.
All right, would everybody join me in prayer, please? Our Father in heaven, we acknowledge your greatness and thank you for the many blessings of life that you give us. We know that every good gift that we get comes from your hand. Especially thank you for the privilege of our fellowship in this club and the worthy purposes that we come together for each week. As each of us pauses, keep us mindful of the need for your direction in our lives. We pray your continued blessings on each of us and this Rotary gathering. And we especially pray for our fellow members who are going through stress with some of the things that are going on in this time. For those that are sick, we ask you to be with them. We pray for Bob Searcy and Larry Fouts, Bob Bellenfont, and Robert and Dottie Fiddler. And for those who have other issues that we don't even know about, we pray your healing hand upon them, your blessing on them. We pray this on our gathering today in Christ's name. Amen.
Will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Indeed, we certainly hope so. All right, now, Jane Covington is going to introduce any guests or visiting Rotarians we have with us today.
Well, I see that we have Zach back again. He is in the pipeline to become a new member. So I guess we can stop introducing him at this point as a guest. And then Jordan Nielsen, unfortunately, when we're not meeting in person, I usually meet the guests on their way in. So I'm able to say something about you, but I don't know. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Jordan, as it says. I am the Community Relations Director at Morning Point in Brentwood, and I'm just looking to get involved in our community and kind of see what you guys are up to and want to be a part of that support group there. So just wanted to check you guys out today.
Awesome. We are so glad you did. Welcome.
Thank you.
Generally speaking, Jordan, for first-time guests, we do like for them to just give us a brief detail of their most embarrassing moment.
Oh, perfect.
Just kidding, of course. We are very, very glad that you are here. Welcome, and we hope that you come back, even in spite of my attempt to completely embarrass you.
It's okay. I grew up with brothers. I'm so used to
it. Are there any other guests that may be joining us by phone only, so we can't really see their names? Anybody else? All right. The assumption then is that you all would like to remain anonymous so that I don't try to embarrass you. Smart move, guys. Okay, Happy Bucks. This is the time when we like to go around the horn, and if anyone has something they'd like to share with the group that they're happy about, maybe they're not so happy about, just something they want to share. Generally speaking, we would like to pass the basket and put $1 in for that privilege of speaking to the group, but we don't have a basket. We couldn't pass it if we did. So we're just going to be on the honor system. You can PayPal us, you can do whatever. But anybody that would like to share some happy or otherwise news. Sometimes I just talk and don't make sense. Happy Bucks.
Keely?
Yes.
It's Betsy. I am happy and proud that, as y'all know, we've got a new grandbaby coming in June the 12th, but they decided what the name was. And since you've all met my dad, I want you to know that they're going to name it after my dad. They'll name him Kenneth. So I'm real excited and I'm very proud of that.
Awesome.
That's exciting.
Awesome. Awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Who else is happy?
I'm happy.
All right, Beth. Beth Dorm, what are you happy
I'm just happy. I've had a good week. I'm tired. It's Friday. I did it a whole nother week. And it's just, I'm glad the sun's out today. I was like, yes, this is good. It's all good.
Yep. Spring has sprung, maybe, sort of.
Spring has sprung.
Who else is happy?
I'll go. This
Yes,
is
sir.
Zach.
Zach's always happy.
I'm always happy, yeah, but I'm even more. I'm excited too, especially with the introduction that I'm transitioning from just a visitor to, I guess, a member on deck or in waiting. So that's really exciting and privileged to, officially join the group very soon. So I'm really happy about that.
Yay.
We are happy about that as well. And Jordan, while we're on this subject, Jordan, if you would like more information about becoming a member, would you enter your email address in the chat room and or your phone number, whatever you would like for us to use as your contact information. I'm learning my lesson from Zach. He had to come like 17 times before we actually got his contact information. Thank you, Jordan.
Give
All
me, I
right.
have a happy button.
Who else is happy?
I do.
Jim Ryan is happy.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. We had our fifth grandchild born a week ago, and yes, 4 in one family. So that's the fourth for my oldest son and his wife, James Robert. So a 4th generation James. And in addition, we got news that our other son and daughter-in-law are going to have their 2nd. So our 6th is on the way. So we're just totally blessed and very happy.
Awesome. Very much happy news.
Well,
All
I'm
right,
happy.
who else? We're on a roll now. Keep it going. Who else is happy?
All right, I'm happy.
Bernie's happy. Bernie is not happy with me because he called me before this meeting and I haven't returned his call yet. But what are you happy about, Bernie?
Well, I was going to fill you in on why I'm happy, but
Okay.
the reason I wanted to pay some money, but I'm happy mainly because last Sunday was my 68th wedding anniversary, and I started a couple of 3 years ago putting $1 a year in, so I'm putting $68 in happy bucks today. So that's what I was calling about, to get the treasurer's phone number, and I called him. I called him earlier, and he hadn't called back yet either. But as soon as I get in touch, well, I'll pay on my bill and put $68 in happy bucks.
Well, Bernie, the best way to get a banker to call you back is to tell him that you want to give him money. So you will get a return phone call, or 3 or 4 maybe this afternoon. 68.
We got a lot of bankers in here.
What'd you say, Beth?
We've got a lot of bankers on this call.
68 years of married bliss, Bernie. Congratulations on that. We are all in awe. In awe.
To the same lovely lady.
Oh,
That's amazing.
So
I
awesome.
used to say my first wife, but that pissed her off, so I don't do that anymore.
She didn't get too upset. She wouldn't have made it 68 years with that. Jonathan Merck says, Bernie must have gotten married at 2 years old. I think that's right, Jonathan. That's correct.
Something like that.
All right. Do we have anybody else that is happy today? All right. We will move along then. Reminder that you will always be able to, well, I don't know about always, but indefinitely, you will still be able to join our meetings by Zoom each Friday. Same link that we're using today. We'll continue to use that link. But next week, starting next week, we are going to go back to our hybrid format. So this is where a relatively small group of us will meet in person. Probably historically, when we tried it before, we were doing about 20, 25 people in person. We will be socially distanced in a much larger room than would normally be used to, a much larger capacity crowd. But then we'll still have Zoom for anybody who's not yet comfortable doing that. So I think we had probably about as many join via Zoom as we did have in person during those meetings. We may have a few more join in person this time around. I know we have a lot of vaccinations that are making their way around. I know people are starting to feel a little bit more comfortable getting back together. So hybrid format, Spring Hill Suites, the same place that we did it in the fall, in that ballroom that's gonna be plenty big enough for us. So that is starting next week, March the 12th. But again, if you want to join by Zoom, we definitely encourage you to do that. All the same health protocols in place. If you are feeling symptomatic in any way, shape, or form, please stay home and join us by Zoom. But those who are feeling healthy and comfortable joining in person may do so next week at Spring Hill Suites. Let's see. A reminder again, we have postponed the Pancake Day for this year kind of indefinitely. If you would like to be a part of a group that is exploring the feasibility or potentially the lack thereof of trying to have some manner of Pancake Day this spring or this summer, let me know. Frankly, I don't know that logistically we can make anything like that work. But I just hate to postpone or to cancel Pancake Day again this year. I'm afraid we may have to, but if you'd like to be a part of a feasibility study to kind of look through that, see if there's anything we can do. We don't want to have it in the fall because we do not want it to conflict with today's message. Larry's talking to us about the golf tournament. We don't want to conflict with the golf tournament. That would be a terrible mistake, I believe. So it's probably a matter of figuring out a way to do a Pancake Day light this summer or just postponing it till the spring. If you have an interest in talking about that, please let me know. Either send me an email at khall@wilsonbank.com or put a message in the chat and we can get with you on that this week. All right, that is enough of this junk. Let's move to the reason we're all really here today, and that's to listen to our favorite golf pro-ish, Sue Kain. Today, his name is Sue. He's joined on his wife's Zoom account, it looks like. So Larry, you need no introduction. You know everybody except for Zach and Jordan. And so I guess you have to talk to Zach and Jordan and tell them who you are. But other than that, take it away, Larry.
I changed my name. All right, forget it. Okay, good morning, and I'm glad everyone that introduction. I really appreciate 68 years of marriage. I was sitting here contemplating that if Sue and I are married 68 years, I'll be 111. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but you never know. First thing first, as you know, those of you who are not new members but have been here before know that every year the tradition is Larry wears a golf hat. And every time I wear my golf hat, that means we're going to talk golf. And I've had a different hat every year. I've had a big brimmed hat. I've had a flat hat. I've had a Ben Hogan hat. So this year we're going with a regular golf cap. It's kind of I don't know what color that is, off pink or something. It's the Tennessee Golf Association hat, which is the association that runs golf in Tennessee. So I thought that was pretty appropriate. They don't have anything to do with our tournament, but they run all the big state tournaments all over the state. And it's located out at the Legends Club. And so I'm gonna wear this hat. Anytime you see this hat on, you can go, oh crap, Kane's gonna talk about golf again. So that's what we're doing. A little prelude into our program. And as we all We had our golf tournament scheduled in June. We had it in September. It was very successful. There were a number of golf tournaments last year that were canceled. A lot of golf tournaments that were canceled. Curry Andrews was telling me the other day that he normally does a significant number of cars for hole-in-one contests for golf tournaments, and he did very few last year because all the tournaments were canceled. What's going to happen this year, and this is important to us, is that all those tournaments are going to come back. And from what I'm hearing and understanding, they're going to come back in the summer and fall when everybody feels a little safer with the vaccines, et cetera, et cetera. And so there's going to be a plethora of golf tournaments, which is normally how it is in a normal year, but it's going to start back this year and probably about around the time that we have our tournament. Why is that important? That's important because there's going to be a lot of competition for sponsorships. You know, your sponsorship that you got last year from someone, he may get 3 calls from his other buddies and friends in different organizations and nonprofits about being a golf sponsor. So we want to make sure that we move fast and not wait until August to try to get a sponsorship in September, because it may be you get turned down because they've already done 3 or 4. So that's important, and that's just going to be what's going to happen this year. Just another happy note. I started to do this, and I thought I'm going to do it now anyway. We've had 2 sponsorship sales already, and we hadn't even kicked the tournament off yet. I sent out a save the date card earlier this week to our teams, the golfing teams, reminding them the date, which is September the 27th of our golf tournament. And two guys, 2 of them responded back and wanted their same sponsorship. So Devin McClendon got a sale, and Dale Llewellyn got a sale this week on the first sales for the golf tournament. So that's a good start to have 2 sponsors before you really get going, and I'm happy about that. So first of all, let me say one other thing. This presentation you're about to see is awesome. It's not awesome because of me. It's awesome because Lena Sujas put it together, and how it's done is good. It's just amazing to me. And so I want to thank Linus, and you'll see the results of his work. And we're gonna switch in the middle of this. We have a new web page that I'm going to introduce, and we're going to switch to that. So there'll be a little lag in there. You'll see, but we'll get the web page up so y'all can see that and understand how it works. So the purpose of the presentation is to remind you, and this is important, especially to the new members out there, and Zach, and I saw my buddy Jake and others out there that are new members, to remind you why we have this golf tournament. And I think we have to remind some of the members too, based on some things I've heard, but I want to remind you why we have the tournament. We're going to go over what our goals are for this year in the tournament, and then we're going to say how we're going to achieve those goals. And we've achieved our goals every year, including last year when I didn't think there was any way we'd make it, and we did. So I'm very optimistic that this year we're going to do well, and we're going to continue to grow the tournament each year. As I said last year, we haven't scratched yet. Tell people don't understand because they think we do pretty good, but we really haven't. So what you're seeing right now is the front of our web page, and you'll see more about that later on. But it's a new thing we've got this year. We've always had the information on our club site before, and now we have our own web page. Here's some pictures from last year's tournament, just so you can get a little reminder of things. Can you go back, Linus, or not? This is before the tournament starts. We've got everybody lined up and ready to go out. It's really exciting. We've had 120 players, and so got a lot of golf carts and things on that in the morning and in the afternoon, and it's just really a neat sight to see all of them lined up ready to go out. This is one of the pros that plays in our tournament. This is Pro George Johnson. You probably hadn't seen him on TV much, but he is a professional golfer. And as you can see, he's Natalie attired and ready to play. This is on the 15th hole, and George is a couple of our workers that need no introduction. Sarah and Sheila, they've worked every year, helped Susie, who is Susie Lindsay, who is in charge of the personnel that day, and they work with the players as they register and whatever needs to be done. And there's a whole crew, but Sherry and Sarah have been really active and really appreciate what they do. another couple of pros that play in the tournament. Of course, you recognize Lewis Rankin there and his partner, and they're ready to go out and play. Lewis is sporting his Rotary Club shirt, which is neat. And Lewis is a big helper. He does a lot of things for us in the tournament, in addition to selling sponsorships and getting the hole-in-one car and some other things. So it's glad to see Lewis and his buddy play. I asked for a title for this picture, and Norris came up with, this is the Chief and the King. So I guess that's what we'll call this picture, the Chief and last but not least, and you've seen this every year, this group keeps coming back to play, and I'm always astounded because they're not very good, but that's Michael King, Michael Kaplan, and Rodney Lund. And you can figure out who's who there, but we're always glad to have them come back and play every year. They bring some color to the tournament, and certainly we're glad to have their expertise on the golf course. So why is it that we have this golf tournament? And this is something we probably don't talk about enough. And as the chairman right now of the president of the BRCCF, it's pretty important to me. And I've thought about this, that maybe we haven't always exactly pointed out what the golf tournament does for the BRCCF. So first of all, 100% of everything we make in the golf tournament goes to the BRCCF, and it's used to support our club mission work locally, internationally, etc. And you'll see for the first 4 years of the tournament, this is the 5th year, first 4 years, we've contributed $239,550 to the BRCCF. All of that money has been given out. Of course, it's over 4 years, but all of that's been given out. And you'll again see some detailed information on that in just a minute. And the future is bright. Last year than I thought we would. And that's, as I mentioned earlier, it's a complete surprise. And so I expect us to do even better in 2021. And again, you'll see those goals in just a minute. Now here, this is a kind of a financial report to the Brentwood Rotary Charitable Foundation, BRCCF, that shows you for the last 3 years where the money comes from, the foundation gets, and where it goes. Now, I've heard that there are some members who have said when they do their annual goal, that annual foundation drive, that they don't really want to give the money like we should. So not sure what that means, but let me just say that in 2019, as you can see, we have 3 sources of money in the BRCCF. The Pancake Day, which we just started raising money in that back in 2018, I think, under Devin was the first one to come up with some sponsorships. And now we've got some numerous sponsorships for that, but we gave $13,000. The Members Drive, which is the fall drive we all are in connected to, is $28,000. And in 2019, the golf tournament raised $69,000. So you can see a total of $111,000 that we raised that year out. And as you can see at the bottom, we gave out $121,000. So we had to dip into our reserves to get that out. 20, of course, was a terrible year. I mean, we didn't have a Pancake Day. We didn't have the golf tournament because the golf tournament fell in the next year in September. The only thing we had was the member drive. So that was $29,000. And we gave out $149,750. Again, we dipped into our reserves and gave out what we needed to do to cover our scholarships and our grants. And then this past year, 2021, as we're into right now, you can see we had 3,400 in called annual sponsors that money goes actually to the Pancake Day. So I kept that separate this year. So you got 3,400 in Pancake Day. The membership drive about its normal $28,500, and then the golf tournament raised $80,000, which was wonderful, for a total of $112,000. And year to date, we've given out $79,800. I know right now we've got about $40,000 in grants under consideration that will be done over the next 2 weeks. And so that's going to be about $120,000 that we'll have given out through the end of March. And we've still got 3 more months in this year. So again, we're going to exceed giving out what we raise, which is what my goal is every year. And of course, obviously you can tell the golf tournament is the biggest contributor, and it will continue to be, I think, and the more we raise, the more we give away. Just that simple. This is just a little historical results of the see, we started in 2017, and as you can see, we have increased significantly the numbers that are important every year since then. We keep our players at 120. That's the most players I want to have because it makes the round go by pretty fast. There's a lot of tournaments that have 140 and 50 players, and you're out there for 6 hours, and it's no fun, and I'm not going to do that. So we keep our players at 120. We've had a full field every year. You can see our gross income has continued to climb and our net income along with it. The only number on there that really concerns me is the number that's highlighted. We dropped our participation from our members last year from 75% in 2019 to 72% in 2020. As you can see, we had significant increase through the years prior to that. So I'm not real sure how to analyze why less members participated last year, but they did. And that's the key to the success of this tournament right there. We need, our goal has always been 95% participation. And as we got to 75, I thought, well, we're getting there. You know, we'll go up 75, maybe 85 next year, and then we'll get up to, well, we went down, and that's disappointing. And that's something we're going to address. And I think we are. We've got a team of people who are a sales advisory team that's put together this year to help people find sales. And that's what we need to do. I say this every year, and I'm going to say it again, and the new members need to hear this. There's a club 5 miles south of us, the Franklin Morning Club. They've had a golf tournament for about 20 something years. They raised last year and $20,000. They have 95 to 98% participation every year in their tournament from their club. They're a smaller club than we are. They're not quite as big as we are, but that's kind of been my goal. I've met with those guys on several different occasions. I know what they do. They really stress the fact that they want their members to participate, and they give them an amount of money to raise, which is higher than ours. And so we'll get there, but I just want to make sure you understand it's doable, and it's being proven right down the road from us that we can do much better than we're doing. And we've got to, it's going to happen when we raise that 72% up to 95%. Our goals for 2021. Lennox, did we skip the slide there? The myths?
No, myths was next. You want to go to myths first, Larry?
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. Leave it like it is. That's fine. I had it backwards in my notes. So what are our goals for 2021? We want to have a safe golf tournament, which was the same thing we had last year. Safe meaning whatever the guidelines are for having a group of people together, we're going to adhere by them. You know, we had boxed lunches last year. We did not have a sit-down dinner. We did everything to keep people separated and social distance, et cetera. And we'll do that again this year. And hopefully we'll create a tournament where people want to come back and play with us and sponsor, et cetera. As I just mentioned, our biggest goal, the most important goal, is to have 95% of the members participate. That's equal to 100 members if we have 105 members, and we're right around that number now. So that's the goal. It's got to be the goal, and that's what we all got to want to see happen if we're going to really make this golf tournament sell. We've asked every member to get $500. That's the same thing we've done for the last 3 years. $500 in sponsorships are players. They all add up, and that's what makes a tournament success. If we get 95% and $500, and you'll see that number here in just a minute. So our goal is to produce a net profit this year of $90,000. That's $10,000 more than we did in 2020, 13% increase. Certainly doable based on the fact that 72% participated, and we've got some people that we need to get involved in the tournament that are not involved right now, and we'll do that. So the question is, how do we get to that $20,000 or that $10,000? See, isn't that, Linus, that is the neatest thing. First of all, we got to have 95% participation. If we do, that's 24 more members than we had this year. If each of the 24 members get $500 and nothing else changes, that's $12,000 new dollars for the tournament. That gets us to our $90,000. And this is just a little more conservative number here. If those same sell one whole sponsorship, which is $350, if each one could do that, just that one thing, that's $8,400. And I can guarantee you, if we get that close, the remaining members and those who've been big salesmen in the past will make up that difference. We'll make our $10,000 difference and make our $90,000. I'm not concerned about that. This is another slide I used last year, and I want to use it again just because I think it kind of points out something that I hear, and it's I'm not the only one in any golf tournament that is run that has volunteers working, especially selling sponsorships. They hear these. So, you know, one comment is, well, I don't play golf. And the bottom line is, we don't need you to play golf. We just want you to support the tournament and do what you need to do to help us raise the money in the event. Second one is, I don't know anybody that plays golf. Well, you don't have to know anybody that plays golf. That's not a requirement of anything. We're not asking for players. We're fundraising. For everyone is, I don't know anything about golf. And that's okay. So what? Again, we're fundraising. This is not a golf event. It's a fundraiser that is just happened to be tied to a golf event. Number 4 is, I don't know anything about golf tournaments. Okay, that's okay too. No big deal. That's why we have a committee. That's why you have a chairman who's got a background in fundraising golf tournaments, because you don't need to know anything about golf tournaments. Number 5, hear this a lot. I can't sell sponsorships. I don't understand them. Well, if you don't, you've got to have a list with you that has an explanation of all the sponsorships. And you can certainly show that to anybody you're talking to, and it'll tell them what they're getting if that's what the problem is. The bigger thing is, and you're going to hear this a couple more times before I'm finished today, ask for help. We've got help in our committees. We got help in me. We've got help in our sales advisory group. We got a lot of help to help you sell something. So that's what we want you to do. And last one is for you here real quick in just a minute. You'll see why, and you'll probably all the ones that were here last year will remember this list. But we're going to show you why you do know somebody you can ask. You really do. This is not going to go through all this. It's small and you can't probably read it, but this is our sponsorship list, and it's very identical to what we had last year. There's a couple of them that changed just a little bit, but nothing worth going over. But I do want to point out the 2 highlighted sponsors. Those are brand new sponsors, and they're pretty exciting. We're going to have a $1 million shootout. And I know if you don't play golf tournaments, don't know exactly what that means, but what that means is at the end of the day, once the tournament's over, there's going to be 6 players who have earned the right through hitting a closest to the hole shot on one of our par 3s to go out into the middle of the 18th fairway and about 150 yards out from the flag and hit one shot. And if they make that shot, they win $1 million. So, I mean, it's an opportunity. There's people that win cars. Ask Curry how many cars he's given away through the years. People do make hole-in-ones, and there's nothing that says they can't. But this is kind of an exciting event. When those 6 people go out there at the end of the day, it's pretty tense to see if somebody can get one in or close. It's just it's a fun event. The next one is a hole-in-one sponsor. This is a new sponsorship package we have. We're going to have 6 par 3s, which is the hole where you hit one shot to the green. We're going to have 6 of those. We normally have 5, but the prizes are phenomenal. We're going to have Masters tickets on one. We're going to have a Pebble Beach trip for 3 days and nights with golf on another. And we got Titan season tickets, 2 Titan season tickets to give away. A tailor-made club fitting in their plant in Georgia. Really expensive, nice things for our hole-in-one prizes. So that's a new package we've got. And of course, we have sponsors for each one of those holes. And then we have the sponsor for the $1 million shootout. So just want to point those out. And you'll get this list in an email here in the next today or tomorrow. So you need help, huh? You think you're talking about this, and maybe some of our newer members are going, Zach's probably out there. Zach's pretty sharp. He's probably thinking, well, where am I going to get these? Where can I get somebody to do this? So here's the most important list you're going to get, and you're going to get this in your email. These are your prospects for your sponsorship sales. Everybody in this club knows somebody on this list. And I use this ever since she became a member. But Sybil Buchanan, a couple of years ago, came to me and said, I kind of laughed when I looked at your list, and I was looking down there, and she said, I saw that very last one that says a rich guy who likes you. And she said, I thought about my neighbor. He's a rich guy, and we're great friends. So she went over to him, and he bought a hose sponsor. So she said, it worked. And I said, yeah, you just got to ask, backwards, but it says just ask. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but that's all Sybil did. And if you think you're going to have trouble finding sponsors, there's sponsors on there. And I use this example too. You see the very first one on that list is your insurance agent. If I ask a question right now and said, how many of you have got home insurance and car insurance and life insurance and long-term health insurance I would think 100% of you would raise your hand and say, I do. I've got home insurance. I've got car insurance. I've got life insurance. Okay. Last year, we had 6 insurance agents as our sponsors. 6. We got 100 members. Now, we're not going to get 100%, but insurance agents, you pay money to every month, and you don't think anything about it. You pay it because you got to have it. And so insurance agents that's why they're first on the list. They're a great candidate. And you just got to ask them and, tell them, hey, I need you to sponsor my golf tournament. And what levels, they may be players. They may want to buy a sponsorship that has players involved. Who knows? But that's just an example. But the rest of them on this list, look at that list and you'll find somebody I promise. One other thing I will say, who the first person you call about a sponsorship? It's the sponsor you had last year. You call them first, get them to re-up for what they did last year, and then you go to getting your new list. So in your packet that I'm going to email to you, normally I have this as a handout at the meeting, and of course we don't have the ability to do that, but I'll email to everyone a packet. And in there, you're going to have your list of potential sponsors, which you just saw. You'll have a tournament information sheet, which just gives you some information on the tournament. You'll have your team roster. We had our draft for teams the other night, Tuesday night. So everybody in the club is now on a sales team, and you have a sales captain, and that captain will be in touch with you. I know a couple of them have already reached out to their teams, but you'll get that list so you can see whose team you're on and who's on your team, and then we'll keep score, if you want to call it that, throughout the next 7 months on what teams sell the most. That actually goes to charities, but we have a winning team, and Michael Kaplan blew it out of the water with his team last year, and so we'll see who comes up and wins this year. But you'll get that roster in your package, and that will show whose team you're on. You get that list of sponsorships you just saw, and then you'll get an application which you can send to your sponsor to fill out, or they can go online and fill it out on the website. We're waiting on that. We've got some sponsorship information I need to put on there that hasn't been verified yet. So that piece may not come in your package, but it'll be here hopefully in the next couple of days, and then I can complete that and get it to you. But you'll get this whole package of information. I said today or tomorrow. It will probably be Monday when Donna gets it out to everybody, but it will come out. Probably the biggest thing we did different this year that I really like is we got our own web page. For those of you, Jake and others that were not here last year, we had all of our information on our golf tournament on our club website, and Jack Massari did a fabulous job of setting it up where people could go on there, pick out their sponsorship, buy it, pay for it. There was forms on there they could pull off if they wanted to, and there was other information, and it was all on the club website. Well, this year we're going to have our own website, and we're getting ready to show you that. BrentwoodRotaryGolf.com It's a specifically golf designed website, and Linus is going to pull that up now, and it's going to take just a second or two, but he's going to pull it up, and I'll show you this. And this is going to be a big, I think, a big boost to us to be able to refer people to the web page and for their signups and for information on the club and on the tournament. And there's some nice pictures in there too. So you ready to go, Linus?
Yeah, I think it's. You see it okay?
Yeah, that's good. So that's the page, and you can see the background, the club, and all our carts lined up in the morning. You can't see across the top there where you see the blue. There's some highlighted topics you tap. You can click on, see what happens.
I'm sorry, Larry, what do you want me to click on?
Yeah, just click on about and see what it does. Okay, so when somebody goes on this website, they can click on about, and I don't know how well you can read that, but that's just a little history of our club. Talks about what we do with the funds that we raise, you know, how much money we've raised over the last 4 years in the golf tournament, et cetera. Talks just a little bit about the tournament. And so anybody that's new, doesn't know anything about the club, they can click on that and see what's going on. Go to registration. So if I'm going to come on here and sign up for a sponsorship, I can pull down here, and here's all of our sponsors listed up. And you can see if you're going to be the scoreboard sponsor, you'd go on there and you'd click. It'll walk you through clicking there, and then you can go on and put all your information in there on the next page. And there's a billing page where you can put the information to be charged or invoiced. So that'll all be done. Hey, stop, go back up just a little bit again. A little bit more. Well, where'd you went back? Go right where it says sold. Yeah, so you can see right there the scorecard sponsor. That's just an example of what it will look like. That was Dale Llewellyn's company bought the scorecard sponsor. So when he signed up, it'll change that and show sold out. So if somebody is pulling up this to see what they want to see, they'll know which of the sponsors have been sold and which ones have not. So that works real well, pretty easy. It'll send out an invoice, which is and a collection. It's just a wonderful asset for us to have. Go back to the top and go to photos. This is just fun. When somebody pulls it up, they'll see 20 or 25 pictures from last year's tournament. There's Curry, and they can look at the pictures and kind of get a feel for what the tournament was like, and you know, how everything's set up, et cetera, which is pretty cool. And I like that a lot. There's our workers, all of our volunteers up there getting things set up. So there's the king and the chief right there in the middle. So anyway, that's just something good that's a good publicity for. We didn't have this before, so this is really neat. Go to the event. Yeah. Just to show you. So they'll click on that, and then it tells them what time to be there: 11:30 lunch and registration, 1 o'clock tea time, and then reward ceremony afterwards. Don't know for sure if we're going to have an awards dinner, which is what we used to do. It'll just to the date what the registrations will let us do that. So okay. The website address I see some people coming up. It's www.brentwoodrotarygolf.com. Okay, Linus, you move on. Okay, so we went over our club goals a while ago, the $90,000 and that kind of information that we wanted for this year. Here's our member goals. We've repeated this. I'm just going to have it up here again. That's $500 for each member. Player fee is $300. So if you get one person to play in the tournament, or if you play in the tournament, that's $300 of the 500 right there. Again, this is attainable. And I will just say this because it's the truth. The Franklin Mornings Club goal is $1,000 per member, and they get it every year. So it's doable, and we can do it. We just got to get ourselves out there and know that we can do it. And we're going to give you all the help you could possibly want. If you've got any doubts, any questions, Larry, I just don't know who to call, then we'll get you somebody. Say, I'm just not comfortable asking people for money. And I've heard that, and I understand that. We have a lot of people who are comfortable asking people for money. So if you can give us the name of somebody you know that you want to call on, a friend, a neighbor, a business associate, or somebody that you think would be a great candidate, but you're not want to call them, then give me or give your captain, your team captain, the name, and we'll do that call for you. All we want to do is have the reference, and you'll get credit for that sale if they buy something. So again, the biggest thing I want people to feel after what we had last year with that drop in numbers was that you're not alone. We're going to help you find and sell something, and we need to do that to make this tournament successful. And just as a reminder, if you say, man, I just don't know if I can sell 2 or 3 hole sponsors. Jared sold 20 last year, Jared Tanksley, 20. He's the reigning boss of selling hole sponsors, 20. And behind me, you'll see it again in a minute. Just ask. If you ask Jared how he does it, he'll just say, I just ask. He was eating at a restaurant down on West End last year and eating, and stopped and asked the lady on his way out, hey, would you buy a sponsorship at my golf tournament? And she said, yeah. And she bought a golf tournament, and he just eating there. Wasn't anybody he knew or anything else. So that's all you got to do. Curry had 17 sitting in his office at Cadillac. He got 17 sponsorships. But of course, there's a new king on the hill from last year, Michael Kaplan. Michael got $10,200 in sponsorships himself. And that's awesome. Nobody has approached that number since we started the tournament. So accolades to Michael and those other 2 guys for doing it. But that's proof. There's guys in our club and they've done way beyond what anybody else would do. But so it can be done. So that's pretty much it. I'm open for questions or with the picture of that good-looking guy right there, Jared Tanksley. And as he said, and this was his quote, it's easy, man. You just ask. And those of you who remember when he made that meeting in a statement in a meeting, when I asked him if he wanted to say anything, and he said, yeah, it's easy, just ask. And so we've made that kind of our motto. And again, the bigger thing I guess I'm saying this year is if you need help, get it. Call me, call your team captain, get hold of somebody, call Jared. I mean, call somebody that you think you want to help you either identify or get the sponsorships. I hate, Zoom's worked great, and I know we've all been on it a ton. The thing that bothers me the most probably about this is there's 35 people on here today. In a normal meeting, I'd be talking to 75, maybe 80, 75 people probably in our club. So we're missing, a bunch of people are missing this introduction, and the only thing they're going to get is an email. So I'd appreciate your help when you're with other members, especially those that aren't on the line today. If you talk up this golf tournament, it's a big deal. But we need for it to be every bit as successful as always has been. Again, I appreciate everything all of you done. You big hitters, and Zach, and I hope Jake and others, the new members out there will. Ted, I hope all these guys will jump in there and be successful, and we want you to be successful, and we want to help you. So that's all I've got. Thank you so much, Keely. I appreciate it, and let's go sell some sponsorships.
All right, thank you, Larry. We do have just a few minutes for questions. I have not seen any in the chat box yet, other than the URL or website address. Any other questions from the group? Sounds like you did a pretty thorough job then, Larry. We appreciate it. You know, we can't let it go by without thanking Larry again. And Larry is always great to deflect attention to his team, and rightfully so. He's got a great team, but Larry drives that team, and Larry is the energy and the force behind this golf tournament. The brainchild, it's his brainchild. He has done a phenomenal job of increasing the amount of money that this club can give to our community. We've increased our scholarships because of the increased money that we've gotten from the golf tournament. We've added additional grants, sizable grants. We were able to give $30,000 to tornado victims last year. These are things that we can do now as a club because Larry has put together this golf tournament, and we are very thankful for his work on that and greatly in his debt. Not to mention the fact that he self-funded, self-insured the hole-in-one contest this year. So if somebody hits that hole-in-one, that's coming out of Larry's savings for Sue's 68th anniversary gift. So appreciate that.
Thank you.
We've got, the web address is in the chat box now, BrentwoodRotaryGolf.com. Again, we will try to make this information available to the best of our ability. Obviously, it's going to be on our social media page. If you were not able to join us here and you're now watching a replay, welcome. But if you know people that need to hear what was shared today, you can share our social media pages with them. This will be on that. You will be getting some emails. We will be making further announcements. But this is where the good information is. And so this is a great place to refer back to as you need reminders on quick advice on how to sell some sponsorships. Little bit non-traditional program today. We thank you for bearing with us while we did do some club business, but this is important business. This is what allows us to do the good that we do throughout the year. So we appreciate you joining us today. Any other announcements, any further business for the club before we head out the door today?
Keith, if I may, this is Zach.
Yeah, go ahead, Zach.
Larry, I thoroughly enjoyed that presentation. Thank you so much. And I can drop my information. I'd love to meet with you one-to-one just to how to get, on the jump, I guess on the forefront of this and how to prepare for this. So if you have some time in the next few weeks, that would be amazing just to understand a little bit more of how to go about this.
I think Larry's frozen.
No, I was waiting to see who was that.
That was Zach.
Zach.
Zach. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, I'll do that, Zach.
Do you have my, I don't know how this all works. Do you have my contact information, or should I drop it in the chat, or maybe someone else?
I can probably get it off your application, but just put it in the chat and I'll get it there.
Awesome. Perfect. And I'll just also say the last thing I'll say too is anybody else, since it's going to be a few weeks, I think, before we'll get back into person. I'd love to meet with you guys either on Zoom or one-to-one just to get to know everybody as I prepare for membership. So if that's something you guys are interested in, I'll drop my contact information again in the chat and we can make something work. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Zach. Anybody else before we go? All right. Well, thank you, Larry. Thank you, Zach, for joining us. Thank you, Jordan, for joining us. Thank you, all of our members and especially our newer members for joining us today. Again, reminder that next week we will have our hybrid format. So if you would like to meet in person, we will be meeting at Spring Hill Suites. Be on the lookout for more information about health protocol, registration, that sort of thing. But March the 12th, Spring Hill Suites in Brentwood. Be there or be square. So there. All right. That's it for today. You are now officially adjourned. Have a great rest of your Friday.